All right, former Secretary of Defense Robert Gates making no apologies about his explosive memoir. He compared President Obama's lack of enthusiasm for the mission in Afghanistan to the sacrifice our servicemen and women make to the show of the military support, and they compare it to the Bush White House. Listen.
President Bush did that with the troops when I was secretary. I did not see President Obama do that. And I said, and as I write in the book, it was this absence of passion, this absence of a conviction of the importance of success that disturbed me.
Iraqi war veteran Congressman Adam Kinzinger joins us right now, Republican out of Illinois. Congressman, your reaction as a war fighter and now a politician to that conclusion?
I think it's right on. I mean, look, you see it when you watch the two interact with the soldiers. I mean, you think of President Bush, and every time you saw him with the troops, you sense from the soldiers' perspective to him a very genuine appreciation for their commander-in-chief. And you sense the same back from him. I mean, I can't count on my hand the number of times that, you'd see the president choke up and get teary-eyed. Now, I don't think a commander-in-chief has to choke up and get teary-eyed to show passion, but you don't see that with President Obama, and you don't see that in the conviction of the mission. When was the last time you heard President Obama talk about why we're in Afghanistan? And I'm a believer of what we're doing in Afghanistan, but I haven't heard my commander-in-chief talk about that in a very long time. But yet he sends troops into harm's way in Afghanistan, but doesn't talk about the need of the mission. He'd rather it kind of go away and he deal with his domestic priorities, whether it's implementing the health care law or whatever. So I think the secretary's right on. I don't think this undermines the credibility of the commander-in-chief. You think about what happened with President Bush. I mean, he was being attacked all the time, but his soldiers genuinely loved him and frankly would follow, I think, the president into hell at the time because they believed that he'd do the same thing for them.
Yeah, so I want to bring you to Iraq now because you've weighed in there from many perspectives. Now in Iraq we have a situation where Al-Qaeda's taken over, in many cases, major parts of Fallujah and Ramadi. What do you think the U.S. can do? Now I understand al-Maliki suddenly open to our advice and assistance because he's unwanted even in that area which is dominated by Sunni, he being a Shia. What should we do?
Well, look, anywhere that Al-Qaeda exists, the United States ought to put a threat of their existence on their heads. So, yeah, we have Al-Qaeda resurging in an area that the Marines have fought hardest since Khe Sanh in Vietnam. I think the United States ought to assist with airstrikes where we can find targets of opportunity. I think we need to offer intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance assets, anything that we can do to help the Iraqi government kick Al-Qaeda out. This is Al-Qaeda, America's chief #1 enemy, the people that shouldn't be able to rest anywhere in the world. I think it's imperative. We never should have left Iraq fully, but that was a mistake that unfortunately we can't reverse.
As Senator Inhofe said, they have money. They can buy F-16s. We should train them to fly them. But in the meantime, you're saying we can help out tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we have assets in Turkey. We have assets that we can place even in Baghdad or whatever. We don't want troops on the ground. We can't do that again. But flying an F-16 or an A-10 or a drone or whatever in to take out a bunch of bad guys, frankly, huddled in a house is something that we can and should provide. Al-Qaeda should never feel they're secure anywhere. If we have the ability to get to them.
Congressman Kinzinger, thanks so much, and always great talking to you to continue to serve the country in many different ways. All right, coming up straight ahead,